Hi guys, so I think we've had a great first season of the medium growth experiment, which we call Experiment 71, and these are the articles who've made it to the final list. I think this definitely doesn't mean that the other articles don't get the same growth opportunities. We still have the group where the authors can discuss, share the links, and uh, you know get engagement for each other collectively as a group. I think what I want to do is see more of the articles in the next season which make it here and which have all the engagement that they deserve. This is one of the articles from which I had written, which I had submitted to the experiment. I can see amazing engagement on this, partly from the efforts of the group and also because of the reach that it creates, sort of the domino effect. The way we can improve this together and make sure that we get more articles which can land up here is by implementing these 10 simple things. It's the checklist to write a perfect Medium post, and it's based on what works really well on Medium. And what I want to do in this video is show you, sort of implement it step by step for you, so you can follow the same thing when you submit a post for the experiment, or in general, if you're writing a post on Medium. This is the checklist that you need to follow for a successful Medium post. So the first thing is you need to have one big idea or story. Now, I'm going to take this example of the validation marketing framework, which I wrote about. This is a term I coined while working with startups and figuring out the need for a marketing before growth hacking or before digital marketing, before really the startup has found a product market fit. This is the marketing framework that any startup can use before they have a product market fit. In fact, it's one of the other frameworks is validation advertising, which any business can use before they have a full scale advertising model. So, in any case, this is the article that I'm going to use as an example, and then I'm going to show you step by step how to implement all of these 10 points on the article itself. So currently, if you see the article, it looks okay. It's not so bad. There is a little bit of formatting. There is a self highlight. There are a few images. There are bullet points. There are use cases. There's steps. It's fairly a valuable read. I haven't really promoted this a lot, but I think it's okay. But we're going to make it perfect. And you can see this is a 6-minute read. These are the kinds of things that you see on Medium. This is how an article looks on Medium. And now this is where we're going to start. So the first thing is the one big idea or story. So every article has one major idea, which I think this article already meets, which is the validation marketing framework. It talks about a new framework for marketing, which is validation marketing. So if you're starting out, if it's a new article that you're working on, make sure it conveys one major idea, or it has one underlying story, which could be your experience. It could be about a product, but then you don't sell directly. You have a story around the product or something like that. So that it has to be one single core concept in the article. Second one, write a catchy headline. The validation marketing framework is okay, but it's not the best. We're going to start editing this a little bit. The validation marketing framework, I could say something like why I coined the term after working with 50 startups. Now, this is another way of saying it. It's the same thing, but this is more like the reason why I wrote this article, right? It's not what I'm writing about. It still includes the term validation marketing, but it says, hey, I worked with these startups, and which is why I coined this term. And if you're a startup, it also talks to the target audience directly and says, if you're a startup, you probably need to read this article. So conveys 2 or 3 things. I think it's fairly okay. It says the optimal length of the headline is 40 characters, or around 8 words. So when you're writing the headline, you have to make sure it's not too long. I think in this case, it seems a little bit long. Why I coined the term 5. It's around 12 words. So we might try to reduce it a bit, but I think this conveys a story in itself. So I'm going to keep it that way for now. Working with 50 startups, so I think I would just make sure it fits in 2 lines and it looks better. Right? And then you have the cover image. So the third thing is you use a catchy cover image to boost click-throughs. Now this could be a cover image, but the requirement for a cover image is that it should be exactly at the start of the article, somewhere here. So you have the headline, and then you have a sub headline, sort of a tagline, here, and then you have the cover image. Now this tagline is also not great. I think what validation is key for startups. To say agile and lean and agile. I keep it short. I think I always use the italics for the tagline, and then here is this is the place where you can put in the image. You can also search Unsplash. That's a cool thing which Medium has integrated with Unsplash. So you can search for an image here, and you can say, if you search for laptop, you get all the images with a laptop. That's one way of doing it. I'm just going to use something for now, but I typically like to then edit this out. Sometimes use a different format. So this is one way of doing it. This is another way, but this is not really the cover photo look. I would like to keep it this way for now. Yeah. And then it says, it also has the caption of the image, which is fine. You always keep the caption of the image. Okay, so we have a cover image, we have a good headline, we have one big idea, and then we have no direct selling, which is cool. This is anyways not an article which is selling anything, a product or a service. It's talking about a new concept of marketing called validation marketing. So number 4 is done. You should, however, include a backlink to your website or business at the end of the article. In this case, I don't really want to lead them to a page, but I do have my email address at the end. If they want to learn more about the validation marketing process, they can send me a mail. So I'm going to keep it that way. Write in first person, make it personal. Number 5. So this platform itself, Medium, is more of a platform where you write about your experience or you tell a story. So it's good that if it's written in the first person. And that's what I'm trying to talk about here. I'm saying that these are the things that you can do. I might want to change it a little bit and say this is what I like and this is what I implemented. So if you read this, I personally love clients who do this, and I've worked with a couple of startups. If you see, the opening statement itself is in first person. And I think it makes sense to have a little more first person in the content. So what I'm going to do is it says there's a lack of process-oriented marketing methodologies during the validation phase. While marketing campaigns need high budgets, growth hacking usually comes in while working with startups and accelerators. In the early stages of startup marketing. So that's something I would like to include here. Now, it's good if you're writing an article from scratch. It's a better opportunity for you to write the complete article in first person versus writing it as a matter of fact. Now, number 6, this is really important. People think about the keyword density when they write articles on WordPress or for SEO. Basically, it's not the same thing on Medium. You need to understand how people behave on Medium. The users, what they do is they browse really high quality content. This is very different from searching for a specific keyword and a specific list of articles around a keyword, which really is what you do on Google. So since you're browsing, it's good to ignore the keyword density and various different factors, and it's good to focus on high quality content. which is also a great thing, I think, for authors. So when you write, it's good that you can put your energies on really creating good content. Clear formatting, white space, headings, subheadings, and short paragraphs. So Medium, as you can see, is really minimal. You can see here that I followed, for this article also, I followed some block quotes, some headings. I'm going to do the same thing here. So if we read this again, you can have small paragraphs. You can use quotes to showcase some important takeaways from the post. So I think this is something I would like to quote here. Yeah, and then let's set the founding principle. The solution validation marketing is more like a big heading. So that's a big heading for me. Can be used for the following as a subheading. Yeah. And then the use cases also are like subheadings. Instead of building an MVP showcase, an MVP is more like a big quote. It's a big concept. It's a central idea of the content. This again is a use case, is a subheading. One of the best ways to reduce ad cost using validation marketing, and remarketing is a big quote again. Use case 3, again a subheading. And then I'm gonna just make this in bold. And now this is the story for the clients. Next steps again is a big heading. And this kind of illustration is really good, which portrays the idea. And this one, for example, tells you which part of the process validation marketing fits. So it's before the product market fit, when you're a startup still trying to figure out your product market fit, you would use something like validation marketing. Once you found your product market fit, but you're really early stage to invest a lot of budget in ads, you would probably do growth hacking. And once you're funded, you will do a combination of growth hacking and online marketing. Have questions? Let's discuss them below. I'm going to keep it a little, not a subheading, but maybe like this. Yeah, so now I have better formatting. I have a couple of codes, and I'm set for number 7. Number 8, I think I've used pretty good images, but you want to make sure that you use some sort of illustration. Even GIFs are good. Sketches if required. Use 5 relevant tags in your post. So that comes when you click on publish. You have the 5 possible tags. I've already used the relevant tags: startup marketing, startup lessons, growth hacking, online marketing, digital marketing. These are the kinds of keywords which are relevant to this content. You can choose your top 5. Make your post around 5 minutes read, not a rule, but yeah, I think based on different studies that I've read about on Medium, 7 minutes is the ideal, most engaging piece of content. That's not necessarily true, I think, for everyone. Depends on the value that you're providing. But I think for something like this, 7 minutes should be good, because it's a new concept and we need enough, we have enough content to portray the concept. Now I'm going to publish this. It's a 6-minute read, which I think is good. We have a good headline, we have the tagline, we have the cover photo, we have good formatting, we have quotes, headings. This is a self-highlight, so this is another thing you can do as part of formatting, good formatting. For instance, you build an MVP and get feedback from the market. You go agile, you get feedback and change until you're ready with something to ship to the world, is something that I would like to highlight. And then I call this self-highlight because I'm the author of the article, but anyone who comes to the article can also see this highlight. So it's a good way to increase the readability of the article and also the engagement rates of people who have now reached your article. And here's another one. There's no reason to limit validation marketing to startups. So I want to say at the end that hey, even if you're a big business, you can still do validation marketing. So that's something I want to highlight. And we're ready to promote this article. We're going to go back to experiment 71 and start working on the promotion. Thank you for watching this, guys. I think if you're doing any new article on Medium, you're publishing a new post or your first post, make sure you follow these 10 points, which are really simple to follow. If you have good content and you have this in place, you can be sure that you've written a really good, high performing Medium post. Thank you.